Um, Very simplistic, very, just taking a decision tree approach towards, what a person does throughout their day. But in aggregate, this is very valuable to marketers. This is very valuable to companies that are trying to place ads either on a website or on a mobile device to generate revenue that way. So it starts off very simplistically, but again, in aggregate, it works. Again, what are the connections between, any, clustering kind of idea? If we employ a clustering algorithm that starts, using home base as that starting point and looking at distances between points, this type of visual would change as a function of weather conditions throughout the day, and so make this more of a fluid interface. So this is what somebody might do at 6 o'clock a.m. versus 10 o'clock. What happens on a weekend, and we're able to paint that picture and understand that story a little better, as a function of changes in the atmosphere. We work closely with partners, Mu Sigma, who some of you probably know people there or have worked there at one point or another. We work really closely with them as far as a consultancy partner that understands data science. They're a really valuable partner, and they're able to provide insights that we don't have to necessarily spend in terms of developing methodologies. So there's a lot of consultants out there, but we have really tended to focus on the ones that really add the most value as it relates to the mission that we're trying to accomplish. Again, just to stress, we do know weather. This is what we're all about. In addition to the number of forecasts, I wanted to throw that up there again just to let that number sink in. But we're processing 20 terabytes of data every day. And again, there's another number that's growing. Everyone that hears IBM, they automatically start to think about, well, how does Watson fit into all this? And moving this business model towards an API approach where we can, this 20 terabytes a day is really nothing when we think about what we probably can do in the next few years, just based on providing a Watson-type engine with the right data and the right questions to ask, and then as a function of those outputs, then we can really, that phase 2 of what we're doing, or that 2.0 of what we're doing, as Watson gets enough information and ingests enough information, we can start to really guide these discussions towards not just individual groups, but specific subsets of individual groups. So it's not just somebody that goes to a certain type of store and drives a certain type of car. We can get to a much more granular level than that and really aid in decision-making for the individual. So, we try not to look at this as something that's intrusive, that we're forcing advertisements down someone's throat. We're actually providing, it's an enabler. It's a way to let people, move through their day, and it can kind of guide them towards what they're going to do next with efficiency. And it takes time away from other things that they would have been doing. This is a way to just make their lives run a little smoother, and it's in the background. And this is, kind of gets to the point of what IoT is and what it might be. There's a lot of speculation on what IoT might be, what it could evolve into. I mean, we're really closely involved in a lot of the discussions in terms of shaping what IoT is going to develop into. And there's a lot of really wild speculation, and everything from flying cars is always the analogy that's used, but I think realistically it's going to be a lot more subtle. It's not going to be technology that's in your face all the time. It's going to be in the background, but it's going to be more seamlessly integrated into your lives. So this kind of example here that we're talking about, it is really that ground level of seamlessly integrating technology into your decision-making process without you actually being cognizant of a physical device that you're always attached to. We really feel strongly that this is the way it's going to, this is the way this field's going to evolve without forecasting, but we have to have a guide, and that's the guide that we're following. And this weather location platform at the foundation of that is really what we feel is kind of the cornerstone of how this will start to evolve. And these are just more examples in terms of just understanding the kind of connections. There's an emotional level that's involved. One of the examples earlier was talking about connected cows. And if you missed one of the earlier panels, and one of the speakers was talking about connected cows, and what does that mean? I mean, there's a weather component to that too. So, say you're a dairy farmer and you know that your cows first of all, your livelihood is dependent on how much milk these cows produce. And then if you can identify, there's a trigger, there actually is a trigger where if it's over about 35, 36 degrees Celsius for 6 hours a day, for 3 days straight, then you can deduct about 1 to 1.5% yield off of the milk that cow is going to produce per day. And you multiply that by the number of cows that a farmer might own, and it's a significant financial exposure. So having this weather data, this location-specific weather data, everyone's talking about, well, what does it mean in terms of how I'm going to shop? It's also an operational tool. If you're a dairy farmer and your livelihood is dependent on this, this weather location platform can actually be kind of a risk management tool. It can help alert you to what you can do to manage your herd so you don't lose that 1.5% a day, which over the course of 2 or 3 weeks adds up to the difference between making money and losing money in a certain year.